सुस्वागतम, नमस्कार, केम छो, आदाब, गुड आफ्टरनून। आप सभी का पीआरएल के अमृत व्याख्यान में स्वागत है, अभिनंदन है। वेरी वार्म वेलकम फ्रॉम मी भारद्वाज फॉर पीआरएल का अमृत व्याख्यान। दिस इज द 36th व्याख्यान of the 75 episodes of series of Vyakhyaan, which is being organized as a part of PRL's 75 years of legacy and history in fundamental physics and space science. Established in the year 1947, the father of Indian space program, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, PRL's Platinum Jubilee coincides with India's 75 years of independence. Hence, it's a joint celebration of the development of science and technology in India by PRL under the banner of PRL Ka Vyakhyaan. Today, we have yet another distinguished speaker and also in a different field, Shri Kumar Keshav, who is Managing Director of Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporation. And he's going to deliver his Vyakhyaan on Uttar Pradesh Metro, building modern urban transport systems for the changing needs of the cities, challenges and lessons learned. And I can tell you that this is one of the metros in India, that is Lucknow Metro, which was completed in a record time, much earlier and much ahead of its completion date. And I have traveled in this Lucknow Metro from end to end, from Munshi Pulia to airport, and it is the best or one of the best in the country. So with this, I would now request my colleague, Professor Deshpande, to introduce our Vyakhyaan Karta, Shri Kumar Keshav. Over to you, Professor Deshpande.
Thank you very much, Professor Bhardwaj. Good afternoon, everyone on this panel on WebEx and all the viewers and listeners who have joined through YouTube for this very special 36th Amrut Vyakhyaan by a very special person. I think all those who are watching news, they are familiar with this name, and that is Shri Kumar Keshav. And I'm indeed very fortunate that I am given this opportunity or responsibility of introducing today's speaker, which I do with pleasure. So, Shri Kumar Keshav is currently the Managing Director of the Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporation, UPMRC, and he is a civil servant. He is an officer of Indian Railway Services of Engineers, IRSC cadre, belongs to that cadre. And professionally, if I say, he's a civil engineer from IIT Roorkee, and then he's MTech in geotechnical engineering from IIT Kanpur. So that is his professional background, and then he did his IRSC, and then he joined, first assignment perhaps was in the Delhi Metro Rail. But what I wish to highlight, which all of us know, is the completion of the completion of this metro in a record period. So he led a team of professionals to successfully complete the 23-kilometer long north-south corridor of Lucknow Metro project phase 1A in a very short time span, just 4.5 years. And please remember that that was the time when we were facing the COVID. So I wonder how he would have completed this project in such a difficult time. But he completed that project well in advance. In fact, well before the deadline was there. And while he did, he kept in mind the considerations of the best international safety and standards which are required for such kind of activity. And this remarkable achievement has earned him the sobriquet of Metro Man of UP. So he is more popularly known as Metro Man of UP, and that is to it. But prior to that, he served for over 10 years in Delhi Metro Rail Corporation and contributed to successful implementation of phase 1 and phase 2 of the Delhi Metro project. At that time, he was serving as the director projects and planning. And after that, he went to Australia, and he was then associated with Hancock Coal Private Limited, and he executed there the heavy haul rail project in Queensland, Australia, where he was the project director in that mission. I also learned many other things, that he introduced this concept of 100% fresh air circulation in metro. That is also remarkable, because 50% recirculation happens, that all of us know, but he achieved that remarkable feat of 100% fresh air in this. So we are indeed very happy that we have such a highly distinguished person today with us to share his experience, and he is going to speak about Uttar Pradesh Metro building modern urban transport systems for the changing needs of the cities, challenges and lessons learned. This is what is the title. So with this introduction, on behalf of all of us here, I invite Shri Kumar Keshav ji to please deliver your Vyakhyaan. Over to Kumar Keshav ji.
Thank you very much. You have spoken a lot about me. I'm not that type of a person. I'm a civil engineer only. And when I was listening your introduction, you are all scientists. So much about me. There is a very, I'm a professional civil engineer, as you rightly said. I'm from Roorkee and basically a railway engineer. I have completed nearly 38 years of service in railway engineering. And Professor Bharadwaj and Professor Deshpande, I'm so thankful to you that you gave me this opportunity. And particularly to Professor Bharadwaj, you never mentioned to me that you have traveled from Munshipulia to airport on the Lucknow Metro. Next time you are here, you please tell me. I will take you around and show the back house areas also. Then you will appreciate that whatever is visible to the commuters, it is much more than that behind the systems. Why I chose this subject? Because that nearly 20 years, if I count Delhi Metro and my tenure in Lucknow Metro, nearly 20 years of my total railway life has been devoted to the urban transport. So yes, I worked for heavy haul also in between and mainline railways also. But the fact is that last 20 years I'm working on the urban transport. And so I will concentrate today my discussion only on urban transport. That's why I talked about the changing needs of the cities. Urban population, if I see in India, can I share those slides, few slides? Can you share? Give me a minute, please. इसको full slide show पे कर दीजिए.
Perfect. We can see it.
Okay. So little structured way, but otherwise it is not a PowerPoint presentation or anything. Some photographs to show how exactly we have done. That gives a better perception. But what is the need of urban transportation so important today? Why it has become so important? It has already crossed 320 million, means 32 crores people are already staying in the cities, and 46 crores people will be staying in the cities in 2026. It may be even faster. The other thing is that urban areas contribute nearly 60% of India's GDP. So from where your economic growth is coming, certainly you have to do something for those urban cities. A sustained long-term GDP growth requires services in urban areas to be upgraded. And out of that, efficient public transport, we all understand, has become so important today. And cities have grown, old roads, congested areas. People are moving from nearby rural areas to the cities, and cities are expanding. That is the reason that something has to be done for the cities to be livable. It has direct economic benefit and leads to enhanced productivity of the people who are living into the cities. Importance of a public transport has also come under focus on account of the vehicular pollution, which we all know what happens to Delhi in the winter months, and even in the cities like Lucknow or Kanpur, where I am working. In these areas also, air becomes very bad during the winter season, particularly about 15-20 days in Lucknow. But Delhi, nearly 2 months it is like that. And out of that, as an outcome of that, a lot of actions were taken when we were there in Delhi, CNG buses, so many things, but still the situation is same. It has slightly improved, but not that much. And I will also like to mention that in cities, it is the vehicular traffics which contribute to the pollution to the maximum, apart from any other things. Another very peculiar thing that India's million plus cities, means all the cities which have got 1 lakh se zyada jinki population hai, nearly 20% of all registered two-wheelers are in the cities. And almost 50% of all registered cars are in the million plus cities. If I, a rough estimation, million plus cities may be in India about 50 or 54. So 54 cities account for 50% of the registered vehicles. And this population of two-wheelers and four-wheeler vehicles are increasing at a rate of 8 to 10% annually. The total modal mix of the traffic on the roads is completely skewed towards cars and motorbikes and scooters. So we all, perception-wise also, we all know our cities, and we know very clearly more and more cars, more and more bikes and scooters are coming on the roads. Roads are the same. On the contrary, there is a negative growth in the public transport all over India. It used to be around 60 to 70% about 10 years back, which has come down to 25 to 30%. I would like to add BEST, which is a bus service in Mumbai, which used to be very good about 30 years back when I was there in Mumbai in 84. In Oil and Natural Gas Commission at that time I was joining. Average speed of the buses was coming around 20 kilometers per hour, which has come down to 8 to 9 kilometers per hour in Mumbai. This is evident because more vehicles are coming, roads, there are, it is not much of the space in the cities that the roads can be widened. Already we have widened our roads to the maximum. There are no paths available for the pedestrians to move, no space for the bikes to move in the congested part of the cities. And length of the arterial roads are roughly the same. New ring roads have been made, but those are covering the outside areas of the city. Connecting from one city, if you have to bypass a city, then you can use those ring roads. But now even Delhi, if we all are very familiar with Delhi, we had first inner ring road or the ring road. Now we have got an outer ring road. Outer ring road is also too congested. So that's how the cities are expanding. A lot of work has been done on building the flyovers, but they have truly not solved the problems. Rather, problem has increased. Traffic and congestion has increased because of the flyovers, because the moment you get down from a flyover, there is a junction and then everything gets stopped there. So practically speed of the road vehicles is not increasing. It is stagnant there in spite of building the flyovers. You may cross faster at some junctions, that is the issue, but not end to end. And this is my personal feeling that more and more flyovers are breaking the total urban fabric. Means you are not able to see from one side of the road to the other side of the road. You can't cross it. For pedestrians, it has become so difficult with the flyovers coming up in cities. My request is, wherever you feel you don't agree with me, please point it out. It's a very open discussion. So in light of this rapid urbanization, providing a green and sustainable public transport has gained tremendous importance. And I would like to share that Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which was earlier called as Ministry of Urban Development in Government of India, was formed in 2006 because everybody thought probably cities are becoming a problem for the people to live and commute and give productivity. So for the cities to be livable, public transport has gained importance. For urban centers to be the engines of growth, because they are contributing hugely to the GDP of the country. So these have become very important. Now I come to the rail-based transit systems. World over, the rail-based transit systems have proved to provide a practical solution for improving the modal share towards public transport. Buses, if we introduce more and more number of buses, they are ultimately sharing the same road space which is being shared, already used by other modes of transport. So practically the bus speeds, as I said, the best buses in Mumbai have come down to 9 to 10 kilometer per hour, our average speed. So public transport with buses, people are finding very difficult because it is taking more time, apart from all the inconveniences which they were having. So rail-based mass transit systems probably can give a solution, as they are doing in the world over, which has been nearly proved. Metros are being implemented in many cities of India today. Total, there are 15 metro systems, which include my Kanpur metro, which has been done only 3 months back, that are operational, and about 10 metro systems that are under implementation in various cities. You must have seen in Ahmedabad, Surat, so many places it is happening. Bhopal, Indore, Lucknow, Agra, Kanpur. This type of cities now are being, metros are being made. Uttar Pradesh, I take very pride because I'm from Uttar Pradesh and it is my state where, apart from metropolitan cities in the country, we are having the metros in the maximum number of cities, and on date, metros are under implementation or progress. Total 8 cities in Uttar Pradesh, which is huge in number. National Urban Transport Policy also stated that all the cities which are 2 million plus, means 20 lakhs and above population, should have the metros. And there are 32 such metro cities in this country. So you can think about it, we are still talking about 25 cities only, while 2 million plus population cities are already 32 in numbers. And in developed part of the world, let me add it, that all million plus cities जहां की population 10 lakh से ज्यादा है, they already have a metro. It is not the planning of metro. They already have a running metro. India today has built nearly 740 kilometers of metro network in the country, and a similar quantity, or about 500 kilometers to be precise, is under construction. But this looks to be very big. But for comparison, just to understand where we stand, this 746 kilometers is just one city, which is called London, and many times lesser than Tokyo. So we are talking about London city, and we are talking about India as a country. So much needs to be done for the public transport, and that too with the rail-based transport system. Very briefly about what I am doing, because I have to tell you now what exactly is Lucknow Metro is doing. We were earlier named as Lucknow Metro Rail Corporation. We are a jointly owned company of Government of India and Government of Uttar Pradesh. And after successful completion of Lucknow Metro, government decided that for all important cities where metros are being planned and to be implemented, let us rename Lucknow Metro Rail Corporation and reconstitute it as the Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporation. So on 23rd of October 2019, we became UP Metro Rail Corporation. So please don't mind whenever you will find somewhere Lucknow Metro, somewhere Uttar Pradesh Metro, but habits don't die so fast. So we still call sometimes ourselves as Lucknow Metro. Lucknow, Kanpur, and Agra are the 3 metro projects which are being implemented at present by Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporations. These projects are being implemented in an equity sharing model. I will also like to mention that metros in the country are a very peculiar model of implementation. We are the only government companies which are on equity sharing model of equal equity by the state government and the central government. We have also prepared all our DPRs for Kanpur, Agra, all the cities where new metros are being planned. That is all work being done by Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporation. And building a green and sustainable urban transport for the changing needs of the cities has been our foremost goal. And we have the distinction of achieving these metro projects implementation in the country at a very fast pace. So me and my team are very proud of the success that we have been able to do it very fast, which is very much required in the country. Now, why exactly a rail-based system? Public transport. A rail-based public transport system can achieve very high peak hour peak direction traffic, means number of people in each direction which can be carried by the system in an hour. So it is as high as 40,000 for cities like Lucknow, Kanpur, a medium-sized metros which I am planning. But Delhi Metro, it goes up to 60,000 peak hour, peak direction traffic, which cannot be taken by any other road-based transport system. In terms of passenger kilometer, if I work, it is 1/5 of the energy per passenger kilometer as compared to the road. I'm saying 1/5, but if you compare it with respect to car, it is 1/20th. These are electric trains, so they don't cause any air pollution in the city, and noise levels are also reduced because of the less number of vehicles. It doesn't occupy any space if it is underground, and only a central median if it is elevated, which is a central median of the road, which people who have seen Ahmedabad, they must already be seeing that it is elevated metro, takes only the central median. In terms of 40,000 PHPDT, if I work out, this is the same amount of the traffic as up to 6 lanes of bus traffic on either side will be required, or up to 26 lanes of private motor car vehicle lanes will be required. We all can think we cannot provide 6 lanes of bus traffic on each direction in these congested cities of ours. These are old cities. And railway system certainly is more reliable, comfortable, and safe. And journey time can be reduced as high as 75%, depending upon the site conditions. Now, very specific to my Lucknow Metro, because those are the projects which you all want to know what we have done and how we have done. So Lucknow Metro, initially the DPR was prepared in 2013 with 2 corridors. But government at that time, state government decided to implement the first corridor, which we call as a north-south corridor, which Professor Bharadwaj mentioned as Munshi Pulia to airport, which is 23 kilometers long. And physical construction on a priority corridor, because metro always starts with a small section and then gets extended. 27th September 2014, we started the physical construction. Somehow our project was not cleared by the government of India at that time. State government had initiated. So nearly after a year, we got the government of India clearance, and then we finally became a company jointly owned by government of India and government of Uttar Pradesh. As I already mentioned, this is nearly 23-kilometer long section with 17 elevated and 4 underground stations. And the entire project was commissioned by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji on 8th March 2019. And we are fully operational since then in last 3 years. And this project was completed 36 days ahead of schedule in 4.5 years period with 4 underground stations. And our CCS airport underground metro station has been done very fast. And now it is the fastest construction of an underground metro station as per Limca Book of Records. Map you may not be able to see from here. I don't know how much you are able to understand, but it has 2 corridors. One corridor from which starts from bottom and goes up north. That is the north-south corridor, which we have already implemented. And I said this project is fully operational since 8th March 2019. Cost of this project at that time was nearly 6,928 crores, and my project was approved on the completion cost, with all escalation, taxes, duties taken into account. And we completed this project within that cost as a result of our completion ahead of schedule. Our ridership was also very good prior to COVID-19. The first wave, in 1 year of operation itself, we had reached 78,000 persons. Now my ridership is around 62,000 after the second wave and this COVID, when again it started. Nearly 7 months we were completely stopped metro operations. So we have already reached 60,000, 62,000, and increasing every week. So hopefully now government relaxations have come, so more and more ridership will come on metro, which people want to use. And I'm happy to share that 4.5 crore passengers have already traveled on Lucknow Metro till date. Second corridor, which we call as the East-West corridor, is a 12-kilometer long corridor that is Charbagh to Vasant Kunj, and it is predominantly underground with a very densely populated part of the city. Aminabad, Medical College, Chowk, those are all part of the cities. And with 7 underground stations and 5 elevated stations, this is now under approval by the government. And hopefully by this year end, we should be able to start this project of second corridor, Lucknow Metro. All the metros which Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporation has made are very modern. These are standard gauge as compared to the broad gauge, which is Indian Railway gauge, and with 25 kV overhead traction. But now we have shifted to 750 volt DC traction also in Kanpur and Agra. Very lightweight, modern, state-of-art rolling stock trains, trains. And ballastless track means it is not the track with where repeated maintenance is required, because trains are running at every 5 minutes frequency in whole daytime, and nobody is permitted to go on the track. So we have gone for a ballastless track, which is almost a concrete bed track and no stones on that. It is a communication-based train control signaling system, and I'm happy to share that we were the second metro in the country to go for the communication-based train control system, which is a moving block signaling system. Means trains can be as close as 200 meters one behind the other, and still be safe. Otherwise, if we all are conversant with the railways working, when one train reaches the station, then only the second train starts from the previous station. It is not like that. So our stations are 1.1 kilometer apart, but still trains can be 200 meter distance. Very energy efficient electrical and mechanical systems with combination of air cooled, water cooled, chillers for environmental issues, LED lights 100%, silent DG sets not only at the station but during the construction also. A modern contactless fare collection system with the smart cards, tokens. Now we are going with QR codes also. Advanced telecommunication system for public announcement, public information display systems. Those are the things. Average speed of these trains comes to about 34 km per hour, and maximum speed is 90 km. Very fast acceleration and deceleration. And because the stations are only 1 kilometer apart, and then there is a stopover for about 20 seconds. So that's how the average speed comes to 34 km per hour. For Lucknow Metro, we have got a lot of prestigious awards. Some of the very good awards which I have shared here. I take very pride in National Energy Conservation Award, which twice I have got from the Government of India Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Those are very good awards which are in our bucket at the moment. And we also got the ROSPA Award, Gold Award from UK. This is Royal Society for Prevention of Accidents. And British Safety Council also gave us an International Safety Award in category of project and infrastructure. So this is how we achieved Lucknow Metro, and many other awards, but these are some which I always like to share. As I said, some photographs basically to show how we have done it, how magnitude the work is. So these are the photographs of how this total viaduct gets created, and to make it very fast, we have gone more and more the precast work. So you see the columns here on top structure, the pier caps. Those are 70 tons each. We had set up a casting yard, and everything was made there. In the night, we used to work on the roads and erected all those pier caps. And this is the first girder. These are the twin U type of girder. The twin U means inverted U, but two girders on each pier, one for each track. This is about 147 tons, 28 meter long. So we used to carry it in the night time, but this was the first girder erection. So it got delayed, and morning we were working on a Saturday night, and morning it became lighted. So that is a photograph which is available with us to show how exactly with the special type of trailers we used to bring it to the main streets on the road for erection. And that's how the girder has been erected. So every night from the day one we planned, we will erect two girders. That's how, so that both the tracks are completed. That's how the work was progressing at a fast pace. So a lot of precast activities were brought into picture as compared to construction at site. Whatever was bare minimum required at construction, only that was taken, just all was constructed in the casting yards. Another thing, good thing was these are precast structures, so very good quality could be achieved in a factory-like environment. That's how once the two girders get on top of it. So now you see earlier pier caps were visible. Now both the girders have been put, and that's how the viaduct started looking. And then on top of that were the track work, signaling, traction. They all started over that. These are some of the stations which are very congested. Lucknow is an old city where roads are very congested. If you can see down below, roads you see there is no footpath on the side. Practically there is no space for widening of these roads. This is one station called Singar Nagar, which is very peculiar, and somehow we made it. Everybody still appreciates how we made this station in such a congested area. So this is an aerial view of that completed station. And I have gone for a lot of artwork at the stations because Lucknow is, as a city, is known for its art, culture, music. So metro is a very modern type of transport system. I could not make it that aesthetically pleasing because ultimately it is a modern system. So I thought that I will bring this art culture somewhere at my station. That's how all the stations are beautifully artworks, well lit in the night. So this is one of the stations. These are my maintenance facilities because all the trains are brought in the night and maintained here, even overhauling, commissioning, initially bringing them at the site and commissioning of these trains. So all this is a workshop which we have set up. This is a complete inspection bay and workshop, train maintenance depot we call it. And our operational control center is also located here only. This is another very peculiar span. If you see, there is a huge crossing, nearly 60-meter long girder we erected on this crossing. There is a statue of Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar ji at the middle, and I did not want to disturb that statue. So this whole girder was assembled on the site in the road, central median, for 4 months, and in 4 nights, gradually we moved this girder on top of the crossing. It's a very well lit crossing at the moment, and statue is where it was earlier. So this was a very commendable work which was done by us. Then underground construction, because 4 stations are underground, you can see the cage which is being lowered. This is a nearly 22-meter high cage. These are the diaphragm walls, and series of diaphragm walls. Ultimately, we make the stations first the walls, diaphragm walls, and then top slab, and then go down. Means it is top down, not bottom up. So we don't excavate and then start building. We first start building from the top and then keep on excavating below, and that's how these stations are built. So this was my first diaphragm wall, which was erected at, we call it Bapu Bhavan. It is Sachwalaya station, it is called. So there it has, this is a photograph of that. That's how we were working on this city. You see the whole area we were working in part, half of the roads on either side, and diverting the traffic frequently. That's how we manage the traffic also in the city. And people still love it that we did it quite well without inconvenience was there, but not to that extent as they had visualized. And they supported us, and finally we could complete in time. This is tunnel boring machine because 4 stations were underground. So main Hazratganj area, which is the main commercial center in Sachwalaya and Husainganj, these all 3 were underground stations. So this is the first tunnel boring machine which we had lowered. It is nearly 6-meter dia total cutter, and finished tunnel is about 5.8 meter. So this is first, that's how the tunnel boring machine is assembled. So this was the photograph of that when we started Lucknow. And this is the first breakthrough, means when we completed the first tunnel, which we started from Sachwalaya and ultimately reached the other end, which is Hazratganj. So we were all very happy that day, and that's how the first tunnel came out. Ultimately, if you see, this is a finished tunnel, and you can see a track below, which is a ballastless track without any stones or anything. It's a fixed track. And overhead traction is also visible, which is a fixed type of a rigid type of an overhead traction, not the conventional Indian Railway with the flexible one. In tunnels, because of the total limitation of the space, we go for a rigid type of OHG. And this is more easy to maintain. This is the train which we got into our depot. This was the photograph of the last train when it came. So we got 20 trains of 4 cars each. So total 80 cars were there. So each car was being brought, and we got it manufactured at Sri City near Tamil Nadu. And from there we used to transport it by road and ultimately lower it in our depot on the tracks. This was the last car, so it is a very memorable photo. We had completed the total supply of 20 trains on that day. This is my operational control center for a 23-kilometer long corridor. And it has a provision for a second corridor also in the same operation control center. So entire maintenance is done from here. I will also like to mention that all our system rooms, this is another thing which we did in Lucknow Metro, are completely unmanned, are completely remotely monitored. So from the operational control center. All my stations, station controllers, we have got only one person as a station controller at each station, that's all. And a station controller's job is also basically to just monitor. He cannot control anything from here. So all control is from the operational control system. All blocks, movement of trains, permitting something, this is all done from the operational control center, and station control at the station, controller at the station is basically to supervise that everything is working okay and helping the commuters. So with this, lot of manpower saving was also there, and the systems are very, very reliable. This is a very beautiful photograph. Somebody gave it to me, not by us. This is on a Lucknow Metro. Gomti River is visible in the rear, and train is moving on the back. That's how the completed metro today is. Lucknow, that's how we are operating 23 kilometers. Now, very briefly about the other two projects which are bigger than Lucknow Metro. Kanpur Metro has got 2 corridors of 32.5 kilometers. And out of them, 13 kilometers is underground. So 11 underground stations. It's much more difficult. And Kanpur, I don't know how many people have visited Kanpur earlier. It's the most populated city of India, Uttar Pradesh. And the other thing is, it's very narrow streets. We started working there. Everybody used to say how the Kanpur Metro will be done. And 2 corridors we are working. So first corridor starts from IIT Kanpur and goes up to Naubasta through a very densely populated area in the city, connecting the railway stations, bus stations, all the difficult points. And corridor 2 is again from the other corridor. It is an east-west corridor, which is connecting to the corridor 1 also at one station. And that is also a very good station. Yeah, right now it is 8.6 kilometers long with 4 underground and 4 elevated stations. And as I said earlier, that metros are always started with a small corridor and later on taken to a bigger portion. So 9 kilometers of priority section, which was fully elevated from IIT Kanpur to Naubasta, sorry, IIT Kanpur to Motichil, with 9 elevated stations. After approval of the project by the Government of India, we started this construction on 15th November 2019. And our target date for commissioning of the priority corridor was 31st January 2022, means just 2 years and 3 months. And that was very tough. That was even tougher than Lucknow. But finally, we achieved our ROT on 28th of December 2021, and which was 1.5 months nearly the scheduled completion time for the priority corridor. Total project is still in progress, which is to be completed by 2024. And cost is around 11,076 crores. I will also like to mention that these projects are funded by equity by the 2 governments, plus a soft loan from European Investment Bank. Incidentally, Lucknow Metro was the first project of European Investment Bank in where they invested in India. And our association has been very sound after that, and they were very happy with the project of Lucknow Metro. So my Kanpur as well as Agra, the other 2 projects are also being funded by European Investment Bank on their own. So I said earlier that 15th November 2019, Honorable Chief Minister started this one. In between, we had two very severe waves of COVID. So nearly 4 months were lost in the total time when we could not do any work. So we reinvented the whole construction schedule. Many of the things which were in the series, we brought them to the parallel. Many of the things which could have been done at the site, we brought them, started doing them in situ, in precast in the casting yards, and started going for erection. So we could still complete ahead of that original designated time of 2 years, 2 months period. And finally, this trials on this section was commissioned on 10th of November 2021. And the happiest day was 28th December 2021, when Honorable Prime Minister himself was there for commencing the revenue operation on priority corridor of 9 kilometers of Kanpur Metro. So it was just 2 years and 1.5 months in which we did Kanpur, which is even many times for nearly 1 year shorter period as compared to Lucknow Metro. So, and since it is a small section, so still today 8,000 nearly people are traveling, but on the weekends, because of the joyriders, the number goes up. So some days we carry up to 44,000, but average ridership on the weekdays comes to about 8,000 passengers. This is how my Kanpur project depot looks like. So complete car maintenance depot is there. You can see a train also moving out of that. These are all the photographs when the project was in progress. And this whole depot we have made in 15 months time. So everything was brought here, and it was a ground taken from a polytechnic. Old government buildings were there. We demolished and rebuilt the whole depot here. This is how typically a station at Kanpur looks like in the surroundings of the very congested roads, GT road, on which we have made these stations, 9 stations. In the night time, that's how my stations look like, very well lit and beautiful color portals and all those. There is a scheme. This is called orange line of the Kanpur Metro. Metros are always given a color for better identification. So it is orange line. So you will find when if you visit Kanpur, you will find orange color in some form or the other, somewhere visible, so that people can identify this as orange line. Now, this is the IIT station. I studied at IIT, so I wanted to make that very beautifully. And so this is the artwork which is on this IIT metro station. Similarly, all the stations have got an artwork at Kanpur also. This is a further work of beyond 9 kilometers also. My underground construction is going on in Kanpur, Naveen Market, Bada Chowraha, which are all very congested areas. So all my underground constructions have started in Kanpur, which we have to complete by 2024. This is was the day 28th December when Honorable Prime Minister was there, and we took him at the metro. So at IIT Kanpur, I explained him all the things. This was a model of the depot which I was explaining. We had put up a small display to explain to him everything. And I feel he was very happy to see Kanpur Metro getting completed in 2 years, 1.5 month time. So this is how my train is moving on that viaduct, and my depot is visible in the background. That's how the Kanpur Metro has been completed. This is a photograph of that Honorable Prime Minister when he was first ride, when he took on the metro, and he was leading the people outside. Everybody was on the streets and on the rooftops. People were very happy to see metro running. Now today, this is the scenario. That's how the people are on a weekdays are running in the metro. They are very happy. These are my commuters. Very briefly about Agra also. Agra is another metro project which I take a lot of pride, because Agra is really the crown in the country in historical monuments. Taj Mahal is there. And Agra was very difficult to take this project ahead, because there is a Taj trapezium zone and a lot of restrictions by Supreme Court. Not even a sewage treatment plant was being built in Agra. And then we went to Supreme Court, took the total project to them, and finally got the permission from Supreme Court on 14th of July 2020, and started the Agra Metro project in the 7th of December 2020. And it has also got 2 corridors. It is bigger than Lucknow Metro. It is again 30 kilometers, nearly 2 corridors. One corridor is fully elevated, but the corridor 1 has got 7 underground stations, and that is because we are very close to Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, Jama Masjid, all those old historical areas. So this project is also in progress by us, and the priority corridor again has been identified, which is a 6 kilometer, little more than 6 kilometer, with 6 stations. 3 elevated and 3 underground stations are there. So elevated portions, my works are in progress. But underground portion, my works are yet just starting, because we had to obtain, as per Supreme Court directive, permissions from National Monument Authority and other organizations, and finally we could get those permissions, and now these works are starting. This is also nearly 8,400 crores project. This already I mentioned that civil works on elevated portions are already working, and rest of the systems works are in progress. One more thing which we have done for economy in scale, what we have done, all the systems we have made common on Kanpur and Agra Metro projects. So all my system contracts are common. As a result, I have done a lot of cost saving in my rolling stock, my signaling system, my lifts, escalator, many things. But these are huge contracts. This is Agra Metro, which is right now under construction. So we have already started erecting the girders, and you can see the Taj Mahal behind. It's just visible from my Fatehabad road. Very beautiful photographs which we have taken once this work was done. That's how the viaduct is now getting done, and it's nearly 1 year and 4 months period, and we have almost completed 50% of viaduct. My depot construction is also in progress at very fast pace in Agra. These are elevated stations that are coming up at Agra. And this is the depot. So this is a little older photograph. Now it is in a still better shape. So all steel buildings, workshops, all those things have been made. Operational control center will also be here. No, these projects have been done in a very short time period, and very difficult environment in urban environment. So what were the challenges in implementation, which is the talk of the today, because such a big infrastructure projects in the cities. So first and foremost is that these projects are being executed in the urban environment. These are not greenfield projects beyond the cities. These are within the cities. And metros are invariably made in the most densely populated areas of the city, because that is where the problem lies. So biggest challenge is that we are doing this work in a very difficult urban environment. As a result, all actions are under close scrutiny. Is whatever you do, close scrutiny of not of media or not of the people higher ups, it is of the people, because they will raise the objections in case we don't do the work properly. The other thing was that the project implementation period was extremely compressed. In 4.5 years, entire Lucknow Metro was to be delivered. Even today, Kanpur and Agra Metro projects with large lengths of underground are only 5 years completion period. And my completion cost is already approved by the government. If I go beyond that, I have to go to the government again. Being in the cities, there are very difficult land acquisitions in the old densely populated cities. So at the design stage, we always keep on optimizing the land requirements. Somehow the land requirement should be as less as possible, with minimum demolitions and things like that. Government land, yes, because of the project is funded by the government. So government lands gets state government lands gets transferred to the Uttar Pradesh Metro on long-term lease basis. But central government lands are again taken on the price to be paid to the central government land, like railways, defense, airports, all the prices have to be paid for those land. So to acquire this land on a private, because we cannot avoid the private land completely. So we got a state cabinet special approval for purchasing these lands on direct negotiation basis. And that's how this total land acquisition with this district administration has been done for private land. Another problem was the cities like Lucknow, Kanpur, and Agra were not Bombay and Delhi, where a lot of technological skills, heavy machinery, good contractors, good designers, or consultants were available. None of them were available. So when we started these projects, I had to bring everything from outside. A lot of issues were there with regards to the trees cutting, because trees in any case are very bigger in our cities, bigger in numbers in our cities. And somehow central medias all have the trees. So we went ahead with the transplantation of the trees. We engaged an agency, identified the trees which can be transplanted. So in place of cutting the trees, we started transplanting. And you'll be happy to know nearly 40% of my trees which were to be cut, I could save. And they all have gone. Which problem? Any problem?
No, actually, we are not able to see your face because your camera was, getting rotated. It was being focused. Its focus was being changed.
Okay. No worries. So let me continue. Let him set it right.
Right.
Then large utility diversions, because these cities are old cities, the utilities which used to be at the side of the road, now gradually because of the road widening, they all became in the central median. And most of the utility owning agencies are not even aware of where their utilities are. Then Lucknow and Agra particularly, being very old cities with a lot of archaeological monuments, we had to obtain the clearance of Archaeological Survey of India, National Monument Authority. And as I said, that until Supreme Court, we had to go for the clearance of the Agra Metro project. When another challenge was the sensitivities of the city were to be respected during construction. As I said earlier, I was certainly causing an inconvenience to the city during construction. But the fact was that inconvenience was certainly being caused to the people, to the shop owner, to the businesses. So whole effort was that minimum hardship or inconvenience to the public. One more thing which I had taken on my shoulder was that I will make it completely barrier free, which I have not indicated here, but later on that I wanted it completely to be barrier free for everyone. So we had an organization called Handicare in Lucknow, and they are very helpful in that. And our chairperson of the organization herself is a wheelchairs. I went to her house, and that's how we started this interaction. All my stations are fully barrier free. And finally, once I completed it, again, I got audited by them. And that's how this Lucknow Metro, I take pride, is completely barrier free. People can come even on wheelchairs, come without anybody's assistance, a blind person or a hearing impaired person. Anybody can come and travel in my metro. So how we could overcome these challenges? I may not be able to list out very properly, but whatever I could do, I have listed it out. I developed a very strong work culture. And when I joined this organization, we were only 3 people. In 2014, August, I joined, and 27th of September of the same year, 2014, I started my work. We were only 3 people in a small room, and that's how this organization started. But from the day one, I was very particular that I will remain very punctual, not only in my attending the offices, even commitments to the contractors, even conducting the meetings, even delivering the things. Integrity of the highest premium. So I selected all my deputy managers, and everybody selected by me. Professional competence was another very big thing which I wanted to achieve, because everybody was not from the railway background. I was collecting the people from all sides while starting this work. So I trained them. We have set up our own training facility. I've got my own auditorium, started giving lectures, engaging the people, and somehow brought them to do this work very properly. Physical fitness was another thing which I was very particular about. So we still conduct yoga classes for our young teams. So many things, lectures from the doctors, from the physicians, many things on the women-related problems, mental issues. We continuously keep on arranging those lectures. People have to be very, very quick for delivering these works. And very quick decision making. Means I always thought that decision making has to be very, very fast. It is only the decision making which hampers the progress. Contractors are there with their machinery and plant consultants are there to support the project, but it is only the decision making from the client which hampers the project. So I was very firm that decision making has to be very fast. And I don't involve in too much of paperwork or something, but very frequent meetings and brainstorming sessions, and that's how decisions are taken and we move forward. Very high discipline to and loyalty to the organization. If you happen to come sometime, visit Lucknow Metro, you will find my young team is very, very loyal and very professional, which are all new recruits. And very prompt response to the needs of the public and the contractors. Contractors are my partners in this one. So I tried to establish a credibility with the public and performance as the best publicity among the people. Nothing else. Otherwise, also I'm an engineer. I can't speak very well to newspapers or the media, but I kept on doing my work and they kept on supporting. That's how this project moved. A very dynamic management style. This was another thing which I tried to do. These are more like a private company, a very slim organization. Very strict adherence to the timelines. If I say something, it has to be done on that day. And democracy in management means regular brainstorming sessions, this continuous meetings in my office, if you feel either in my chamber, down below, at every level, people are keep on discussing among themselves, with the contractors, with the designers, interface management with other contractors, and keep on resolving these issues. Nothing should get stopped. And as I said earlier, infructuous paperwork, I completely wanted to remove, which I have been able to do. Predominant use of information systems. So we have got hot seats for my site staff in my offices or the site offices. And most of the people are moving with their laptops, with their drawings, everything in soft copies in their laptops. They're moving there, connected on the phones. They don't come to office every day. They directly go to the site, deliver things from there. And on the sites also, there are small offices where hot seats are there. Anybody can come, plug in his system and start working. Usually in the government organizations, people push from the rear, but I thought that no, we will lead from the front. So I go on the side, I lead the issues, I try to resolve them in place of somebody else to asking them to decide. That's how the whole team is trying to move forward. So gradually everybody has started taking a decision and everybody is leading a small team. So they are working very fast and that's how the total team is now able to deliver it very well. And as I said, the top management is readily available for anything. Management is, this was another thing which I wrote in my office also. This management is based on trust. I don't distrust anybody. Until he himself proves that he's not worth trusting. Otherwise, I will still keep on trusting. So I trust the people and that's how I thought that we should be able to deliver this work. And that ultimately brought that. So that was another thing which I could, which helped me a lot in delivering this project. Very strict monitoring during implementation. We always had baseline work schedules of contractors at the start of work. We were monitoring the progress of the works, but we were also monitoring their work schedule, mobilization of manpower, machinery, and materials. So much going into details with the contractors. I always had this thought in my mind that if I am able to control their manpower, machinery, plant, and materials at site, work will automatically happen. And that's what started happening. Very practical approach to solve the genuine problems of the contractors. Very streamlined prompt payment procedures. Means within 2 days, a bill is submitted by the contractor, I make him 80% payment without even checking it. And balance 20%, I make it within 20 days or 24 days. So very prompt payment procedures are there in place and payments are done to the contractors. And this all I started when I was only 3, 4, 5 people. But certainly, very stringent penalties for failures to deliver. I'm very, very clear that it is a complete business we are doing. They have to also deliver. And round the clock supervision, I guaranteed. You'll be surprised when I started the work, then I was supervising the works at site also in the night time. Whenever contractor is ready, we are there to supervise. In place of when we are ready, then they will do the work. And very strict quality and safety audits. That's how I got those quality and safety awards internationally also. And usually the projects get delayed because of the government and civic body departments, utility diverse interfaces are there. So we took the responsibility. This we will do directly on our own. So we don't depend on our contractors to do these interfaces. We do these interfaces and take it forward very fast. And effort was to establish that we are different than the normal executing agencies. And we mean business, which I said earlier. I'm helping everything, but I want it delivery. Another thing which was very close to my heart was sustainability planning in metros. I have a lot of experience of Delhi Metro and international also. So out of that, I was thinking that we should have a sustainable system, energy efficient. So all those things which are required for energy efficiency or energy conservation were brought into position. We have got regenerative braking in our trains, which we have already checked. We are designed with 30 to 35%. I got it verified also. Now it is 34%, which we have already achieved. Means whatever is 34 energy, which is at the time of braking, whatever heat energy is converted back to the electricity and fed back to my transmission system. And is that electricity is being used by the other subsequent trains, just train behind. So I'm ready to reduce my energy bill. Regenerative braking in lifts also we have already obtained, and that is also certified now. As I said, sustainability in environment-friendly technologies like LED lights at the station. So by not only trains or stations, it is 100% LED lights. Even trains, we are the first one to go for 100% LED lighting. We went for water-cooled and air-cooled chillers for underground stations to basically save the water. And we have gone for roof-mounted solar plants on large buildings in the depot and RESCO model. Out of all these efforts, from the design stage itself, I had started that we will ultimately target a platinum certified green building. So all my stations of Lucknow, and very happy to share even my Kanpur stations now have been granted the platinum certified green building rating by the IGBC. And this, I take pride that system is completely barrier free from the physically challenged and the senior citizens. These are some of the things which I was doing. Still we are doing in Kanpur. You see the wheel washing of the vehicles when they go out of the casting yard or the depots to the road. So the roads remain clean. So we invariably wash the wheels of the vehicles so the dirt doesn't go to the roads. This I was talking about the transplantation of the trees, relocating the trees. This is how I did it. So all these trees I was removing and ultimately transplanting in my depot. So my depot is very green from the day one. That's how we were managing the traffic in the daytime and the nighttime. And we had our own traffic marshals with the help of police. We were only training them, but entire traffic management we took on our shoulders that we will do it. So in our construction sites, people were quite relieved that traffic is managed well. We are already certified ISO 14001 company in environmental management and ISO 18001 in health and safety management. And as I said earlier, all my stations are green buildings, which I have done. And that is ultimately the Lucknow Metro. I always say these are the dreams coming true to the people. Thank you, I have finished. If anything more or anything extra is required, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Shri Kumar Keshav ji, for such a wonderful, enlightening, informative talk. And I'm sure there'll be many questions. And I do have a couple of questions, but I would hand over the stage to Dr. Manas Samal for conducting the question answer with a kind request that please do give me a chance to ask a question.
Thank you, Professor Deshpande, for the inviting me to conduct the question and answer session, and thank you, Keshav ji, for such a inspiring talk. and I'm sure my colleagues would like to interact with you, and they may have many curious and naive questions. I hope you won't mind to take them up. So to interact, I would suggest my colleagues in the WebEx panel to raise your hands so that I can take one by one. And so after I finish the WebEx questions, I may take up the questions that are in the chat box either by WebEx members or posted from the YouTube. To start with, I see Professor Bharadwaj has already raised his hand. So Professor Bharadwaj, please go ahead.
Thank you, Manas, and thank you, Keshavji, for a very nice talk, elaborating on many details which we don't know about, when the metros are being used by us. And let me tell you that I am basically from Lucknow. So I am the what we call in Lucknow ke Nawab, and I have been spent almost like 25 years in Lucknow, and subsequent to that, I had traveled across India and now in Ahmedabad. So I have been using metro whenever I go to my home in Lucknow for the last 3 years since its inauguration. And I really enjoyed traveling through from end to end also, right from the airport to the end station right now, that is the Munsipulia. And I have seen how underground metros, particularly the Hazratganj area, where you have the Sachiwala to Hazratganj and then coming out at KD Singh Babu Stadium. So I have really enjoyed traveling to metro, and I can tell you that it is really one of the best. And that has also made me realize that it is cheaper, faster, and better. Cheaper, I can say almost like 1/10. Faster, almost like 1/3 to 1/4, and better in terms of pollution and noise and all those things when you travel otherwise by road. So I'm just asking you a question which is with respect to the economics of this metro, with respect to the building cost and then the commuter cost, and how do you work out that with respect to the earnings which you get from the metros? So how does the economics works out for these metro systems?
Thank you, Dr. Professor Bharadwaj. And metros are approved to be true on national metro policy, new metro policy. They are approved on the economic rate of return. They say that financial rate of return is not a consideration, but that is not the right thing. Still, we have to sustain in the market, so we have to have a financial rate of return. So company like Lucknow Metro, when we implemented the project, my financial rate of return was about little more than 8%, which was good, and which I was sustaining also. In 1 year of operation, I had already achieved 78,000 ridership. So we were always able to take our operation and maintenance cost. But only last year it happened when 7 months this COVID did not permit us to run the trains and everything was stopped in the country. So that is the only time when we have lost on the operation and maintenance cost. So what I'm trying to say that by bringing in right technology, by bringing controlling the total manpower which we employ, and better resources utilization, it is possible to bear the operation and maintenance cost, which we were doing, which we will again do this year also. Probably this whatever losses are there, we will be able to recover. But the fact is that projects are funded by the two governments, which is the equity, and roughly 46 or 45% you can say is the contribution by the government. So governments are not asking that money back. They will always remain a government company. Burden is the 54%, 53% is the external loan, which is from European Investment Bank. So if you ask me, metros will always be able to run operationally, and they will be able to maintain a good system with operation and maintenance costs fully being met by them. But paying back the loans will be impossible. And that is the problem with the Delhi Metro, that is with the Bangalore, because paying back the loan, certainly I can't increase my fares. It has to remain low. The total purpose of the metro was that more and more people should use it. It is more of a social sector project. So that's how the new metro policy said, no, financial rate of return is not required, only economic rate of return is required. So economic rate of return is very high with the benefits, but financially this is the situation. So a lot of good things which government has given us, like they have permitted us to advertise at our stations, a lot of commercial spaces which we have leased out at Lucknow. With all that, we will be able to bring back our operation and maintenance cost plus a little bit of loan. But ultimately, government support will be required for paying back a sizable portion of the loan. That is the issue.
Thank you. Thank you very much. One last question from me. Now this Lucknow Metro is about, I think, some 23 kilometers long, right? And some 21 stations. So how many metros will be actually running on this track at a given time?
We have got 20 trains and we run 18 trains every day at around 4.5-minute frequency. And continuously, because right now I'm in a market and ultimately I have to grab more and more passengers. So even in off-peak hours, I continue running these trains at 4.5-minute frequency. Idea being, whenever a person comes in 4.5 minutes, he gets the train. So that's how the people are gradually moving towards metro. So 18 trains we run every day and in the morning till evening. And 2 trains are basically, one is for operational reserve in case any train becomes some problem is there, we can replace it. And one we have to continuously maintain in the daytime. So by rotation, 2 trains are in the depot and 18 trains are in operation. So 18 trains are in operation every day.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to you, Manas. Manas, you are not audible.
You're muted, Manas, you're muted.
Okay. Thank you, Keshavji. So now I'll invite Professor Deshpande to proceed.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Keshavji, I have a couple of questions which I will put briefly. That in one of the slides, you have shown it beyond a doubt that the metro is one of the safest, economically most viable, very fast and convenient mode. Now, this wisdom perhaps was there among the people for at least a couple of decades now, but how come we have only 750 kilometers of metro so far in India? Because something which is economically viable, it naturally gets pushed up. I mean, our system is such that it should have flourished by itself. Why it did not flourish?
Let me tell you that first metro was the Kolkata Metro. And somehow that went for a very long time. That was being done by Ministry of Railway. And when Delhi Metro started with Dr. Sridharan, and we were the team at that time, that somehow proved that probably metros can be made, the world-class metro. And Delhi Metro was the first successful model of the metro. And thereafter metros started. So as in after Delhi Metro, Bangalore, Chennai. Now these 2 big cities happened. Then Mumbai. Now so many metros are under construction. So you see now Lucknow. All of a sudden Lucknow got approved. And now after Lucknow, we are talking about Kanpur, Agra, which are already in progress. We are talking about Varanasi. Gorakhpur is nearly going to be approved. So many things are happening. But certainly this growth has been slow, which I fully agree with you. That's why I showed the total 700 kilometers is as big as one city called London. So, and million plus cities already world over have got the metros. So all the cities, 2 million plus, which are 15 by country, at least those cities should be planned metros, and 25 cities are already being done. And but my feeling is government will put more and more pressure because urbanization is happening very fast. And wherever metros have been constructed, they are expanding. Delhi metros still continue to expanding. The same will happen with Lucknow, same will happen with other cities. So yes, it is slow, but it is happening.
Fine. Thank you. And the next question in the same line is there a thumb rule that for certain square kilometers, certain length of metro is typically there in the world, or there is no such thing?
There is no such thing because cities are differently developed. Somewhere it is very linearly developed. Somewhere it is Delhi like a city which is spreading on all sides. So I don't think there is any norm like that or can be a norm like that. Okay. But the fact is that every city has got some main arteries where movement is more.
Okay.
So all the big cities in the world, they have gone for metros on the main arteries where more movement is there.
Right.
And all the other traffic which is connecting to the arteries is by other modes of transport, like buses, there's trams, so many things they have brought into the picture in the cities, which are basically feeding to the main metros, which are the main arteries.
Okay, thank you. The next question is that have you, in which way have you embedded the artificial intelligence and machine learning or GPS or face recognition technology? Are they part of your, planning somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
My trains are fully are completely positions are known inch by inch by inch. That's how I'm running the whole trains at 200 meters distance apart with the moving block technology. And artificial intelligence is in all my systems like traction monitoring, telecoms. Even my public information display system is not manually done anything. It is all by the train sensed, and that's how it is being done. And fare collection system is also like that. So these are all very modern systems which we have brought in. Artificial intelligence is there everywhere which you can find.
The next question was that will you please comment about the advantages and disadvantages of elevated versus underground stations?
The advantages of elevated and underground, two things. Elevated is cheaper in construction, first and foremost, easier in construction. And it is almost, if in terms of the cost, if I say it is nearly half the underground corridors. But not only that, underground corridors, even maintenance cost is very high because a lot of underground stations, lot of smoke management issues come into picture, fire and smoke management. Because of that, my total infrastructure inside an underground station is huge. And so initial construction and thereafter maintenance. But the fact is that underground in the densely populated part of the cities, you have to necessarily go for underground because if you go with elevated means future development is also getting hampered. So even cities like Singapore has got elevated, but in the central portion it is underground. So basically people have gone for elevated and underground basically on these considerations. Where it is possible to make it elevated, they will go for elevated. Otherwise, in densely populated area, these are underground metros.
Okay. And then my last question is about this diaphragm wall. You had shown the big diaphragm is going down for underground construction. So kindly briefly tell what it is, and will that technology be suitable for the kind of sandy or unconsolidated aquifers region? Or
My feeling is all underground constructions are done with the diaphragm walls now.
okay.
So any huge underground tank, probably diaphragm wall is the right solution. What is a diaphragm wall is about 6 meter length, means a small vertical panels of the wall. I can't excavate everything, and so what I do, I excavate and lower a cage for about, which is about 22 meter high in case of my portion. And then we concrete it completely, one diaphragm, then adjoining that. That's how gradually I am making a wall of the whole station. And once the station is completely enclosed from outside, then I start doing my top slab over there. So once I complete my top slab, then I start excavating below the top slab. And then reach the middle level. Then again do the middle level slab. Then again go down to the bottom levels. And diaphragm walls are there already.
Okay.
It's basically you have restrained everything from our sides wall. The other way could have been that we excavate everything and we do the bottom concrete first, bottom slab, then we start raising the walls, then middle slab, then raising the wall and top slab. It is just opposite. So all difficult constructions today, probably it is the safest way of construction, particularly in urban cities. I can't make big excavations on the roads, and buildings have to be properly protected.
Thank you so much for answering my questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Keshavji. Moving to the next questions, I would ask Mr. Nirbhay Kumar, please proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Manas. My questions are not technical, sir, but it is rather driven my excitement to hear the Metro Man of UP. Actually, I have two questions.
There is only one metro run in this country.
I have two questions. First question is, we have this monumental city of Agra where you are telling about metro, and very near to that is Braj Tirth, Vikas Parshad recently, which UP government has made. So this city of Mathura, which is the Lord Krishna's place. So are there any plans of extending this metro section to Mathura? That is question number one. And okay, let me take question number two also. You can answer both together. Question number two is, now we have two red forts in India. One where our Prime Minister hoists the tricolor. Second is in Agra. So are there any plan of any kind of rapid transition system to connect both these red forts? A kind of metro or something else?
देखिए उसमें दो चीजें हैं जो मेट्रोज हैं जो विद इन द सिटी मूवमेंट के लिए हैं these are the metro is a transport system for moving within the city or extended part of the city. Metros are never used for connecting two cities. So probably it gives some answer that Mathura, Vrindavan or whatever you are talking about, connecting to Agra by a metro is not feasible. In the sense that metros have to stop at every 1 kilometer. So if I keep on stopping at every 1 kilometer in 30 kilometer distance from Agra to Mathura, then probably road will be a cheap, better solution. And so in all major parts of the cities, you will see city has got a metro, and connecting one city to the other city is another rail-based system, which may be a rapid rail system. It's a faster train with a longer distance for stoppages. So that quickly you can, for example, Lucknow to Kanpur. I can have it either a suburban system, which is Indian Railway has got, or a system where a train is faster. Means every 10 kilometers it stops, in 4 stoppages I reach Kanpur. So I connect at Lucknow, I connect at Kanpur with my metro station. So from metro station you come to the rapid rail transit system and straight away take the train, enter Kanpur, and again take a metro and move inside. In place of taking a metro train from Lucknow to Kanpur. That is the issue. So from within Mathura, Vrindavan, something can be done, but connecting Agra metro to Vrindavan probably will not be right. Same as Agra Fort and Delhi Agra Fort, because Delhi has got a metro, Agra will have a metro. But connecting the two metros probably will not be a solution. And
so Mathura, is there any plan, sir?
Yeah, I'm not aware that Mathura, many things are being discussed that Mathura, Vrindavan, there should be some intercity movement, how the people, because that is distance is hardly 7, 8, 10 kilometers. So some commuting system can be done, which is a rail-based system. So hopefully something should happen, because all these solutions are required. Because otherwise, Mathura, Vrindavan, so many people are going, but how they travel is a very cumbersome process, or tempos and so many things.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, Keshavji. I see a few questions posted on the chat box. The first question is by Professor Neeraj Rastogi, and his question is, have you planned considerably big two-wheeler and four-wheeler parking at some key stations? This will encourage people not to take their vehicles in crowded area and use metro. Any comments are on this?
Very right. We have planned them particularly at the terminal stations at Munshi Pulia as well as the airport, at Charbagh, which is another station on the railway side, Alambagh, which is a market hub. Whatever space was available, we have created parkings, but these parkings are more of two-wheeler parkings, less and less of car parkings, because car occupies too much of a space. And what I have done, that two-wheeler parkings I have created in huge numbers. So by lot of two-wheelers, people come and drop their vehicle and travel on the metro. And by car, many people are coming, but their son or daughter or wife or somebody drops the person at the station and goes away. So car people are, few car parkings are there, but huge car parkings at metro stations within the city is not very possible at every station, but few stations we have given car parkings, and two-wheeler parking is almost at all stations.
Yeah, thank you. Another question again by Professor Neeraj Rastogi, and his question is, how do you do for the safety and maintenance of metro train and stations, keeping a considerable fraction of unruly user in mind?
देखिए metro in my train depot are completely fenced areas and with the security and other things. Nobody can enter those car maintenance depots. But stations certainly are made for the people people to come and enter the metro station right on the metro system. So how should I say that unruly users? I don't like the word. These are my commuters. They travel, and somehow I've managed this Lucknow people. If you people are conversant, Professor Bharadwaj is certainly conversant. A lot of pan is taken here. People keep on spitting here and there. But you come to Lucknow Metro, is ultra clean. Nothing is there. These people on my side, I said this is our metro. I maintain it very well, and that's how they have supported me. Everybody, and I'm very particular that I will not allow you to take any gutka, pan, cigarette inside my metro. I check it. Initially, when I started my metro, there was no such rule that you can't take a gutka or tobacco inside the metro. But on the first day of operation itself, we said that no, we will not permit. So we just put the bags there. And we were all standing there, and people, in one day, we collected 30 kg of gutka. And people supported us, gutka, pan, lighters, everything they dropped into them. That's how the people came on our side. So it is not the question of unruly passengers. It is basically the people have to be taken on your side, and that's ultimately take that with you. Same is on Kanpur now. People, it's a very clean metro. People are take pride in traveling by that. But still, we have got security to check the people that nobody should be able to take a weapon or a cartridge or an explosive inside the train. I'm more worried about that. And other trains are very clean, stations are very clean. So people ultimately, basically, my belief is that people basically want to live happily in a clean environment, and they will never like to spoil it if we convince them properly.
Thank you. I can take only maybe one or two questions from the WebEx panel because we are running a little bit out of time. So Vineet want to ask question. Vineet, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Manas. Sir, thank you very much for such a wonderful talk. I have just one question with regard to how metro system can earn money. Is the amount of fare that's been collected by the ridership, is it enough to make the metro sustainable or maybe break even, or you have to rent out spaces or rely on advertisement and other sources of income?
Very right. Metros have got, we are utilizing two streams of revenue. One is from the fare box, which you said very clearly, collecting the fares from the people. But the fact is that you can't increase the fares too much, then people will not come. So you have to keep your fares low. So that income will always be restricted to a certain percentage, maybe 70%, maybe 65% or 75%. Balance 25 to 30% income has to come from non-fare box revenue, which is not coming from fare. So for that, we have gone for advertising inside the trains, at stations, on our pillars, and leasing out the spaces for restaurants, coffee shops, all that is happening, bookshops. So nearly about 30% income is coming from that non-fare box revenue, and 70% is coming from fare box. To be true, more and more income should be transferred towards non-fare box, and we should somehow try to achieve at least 65% revenue from the fare box, and that should be the ultimate. If you increase more than 65% revenue from the fare box, then probably people will not come. That is another way to increase the fare and increase the revenue. So you very rightly said there has to be a combination. Fares have to be kept low, and more non-fare box revenue utilization. Revenue stream should be.
Yeah, just one more small connection, which is question which is connected. So, what is the aim? Do you aim to be positive, earn money, or break even? That is no loss, no gain, or do you?
No, I want to earn some money because in the sense that I have to pay back that loan. Ultimately, I have to support the government in paying back that loan. So if I'm able to earn more money, I will pay back the loan. And in any case, I have to take out my own operational and maintenance cost fully, give people a very good service in the city for the metro. And little bit of loan I can pay back. Let me tell you one more thing. Very recently, government of Uttar Pradesh has identified a huge land of pockets in an area which is being developed on the Shahid Park. And they are transferring their plan to me within this week. So that will be a completely standalone property developments which I will be taking up. So revenue from that will be brought in. So ultimately, the idea is that whatever revenue comes, I subsidize more and more towards the fare box. So more and more people travel. And my earnings keep on coming from non-fare box revenue. But I will certainly like to be in profit because I have to pay back that liability. Ultimately, that responsibility is with me for paying back.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I don't see any more questions in the WebEx panel. So before we move to the to the last section of today's Vyakhyaan, I just want to ask one question to you, sir. I mean, you the last 3 or 4 slides you meticulously showed us how you plan and execute this project and deliver it before time. So my question is, I mean, during the whole process, what is your key mantra or key message that you deliver to your core team and keep them inspiring?
I keep on talking to my team very frequently, and I deliver lectures also. My young team every 15 days, all new batches. Keep on talking on, and whenever I talk, I never talk on technical issues at all because the whole team is technical, and people they are already talking to them on technical issues. I somehow am highly inspired by Gandhiji, so I keep on talking about compassion. I keep on talking about integrity, professional competence, how they are to be a good citizen, how important it is to be a good citizen. You may not be a good engineer, but good citizen being is a very important thing. These are the talks which I share with my people and try to bring them on my side. They have to keep very strict control on their habits. They have to devote themselves for the work. Ultimately, company has to be taken and have to deliver this project in time. And you mentioned about how to bring the people on your side about the time completion. I had worked out when I was doing Lucknow Metro, a single day delay of Lucknow Metro was costing us 50 lakhs rupees. So I had written in my office, but every day you delay it is 50 lakhs rupees. So 36 days if I did Lucknow Metro, I had that much money I had already earned. So if it is in the back of our mind that my delay is causing ultimately in terms of financial terms to my company, people will never delay the works. All decisions have to be taken. And ultimately, it is 50 lakhs is only by price escalation and revenue loss. That is the only thing which I had worked out. If I go to the Kanpur, probably it will be now 75 lakhs because that project is 1.5 times of Lucknow. So it has to be done ahead. And the other thing is that as some of the colleagues were asking that financial viability, RRR, so much FIRR and all those issues, if I have to complete these projects in time, that is the burden to complete it ahead of the time because I want to control the cost. If the cost goes up, it becomes further bad. In any case, we are not financially sustainable in a long-term project like this until the support from so many non-fare box revenues come up. So if there is a delay, cost goes up. So it becomes further bad a situation. So onus is on us to complete in time, basically to save the money and basically to remain sustainable financially. This is the issue.
Thank you so much for your explanation. Thank you, Keshavji, for answering all the questions. It is wonderful to have you with us. Now I will invite my colleague Vaibhav Dikshit to conclude the session and please give vote of thanks. Vaibhav.
Thank you, Dr. Manas. It is my pleasant duty to convey a vote of thanks to our speaker, Shri Kumar Keshav ji, on behalf of PRL for giving such a lucid and informative talk. We have realized the importance of green and sustainable public transport in keeping the environment healthy. We truly appreciate the hard work put up by you and your team in realizing the dreams of common citizens of Uttar Pradesh. We also obtained several important management lessons from you concerning large and complex projects. Sir, thank you very much for giving time to us from your busiest schedule and patiently answering the questions from the WebEx and the YouTube platforms. I would like to thank Professor Anil Bharadwaj, Director PRL, and Professor D. Pallam Raju, Dean PRL, for their constant guidance and support in conducting the Amrut Vyakhyaan series. I thank Professor Nandita Srivastava, Chair PRL Amrut Vyakhyaan Committee and other committee members for conducting another wonderful lecture in this series. Many thanks to all the viewers who joined us through WebEx and the YouTube platform. So with this, we have reached the end of the session. We shall be back next Wednesday with another interesting lecture. So till then, stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all of you. You listened very patiently to me. You are much educated than me. I am a scientist, so I was not knowing how to explain these things because these are civil engineering projects and civil, not only civil engineering, but complex engineering projects of multiple disciplines. But I hope I did. I was able to explain some of the things quite clearly, and some may not have been made that much clear. So, most welcome anytime. Several visits Lucknow. Please visit Lucknow Metro and keep us involved. Now you have our mail ID. Just send us a mail. We will take you around, show you, because whatever you are seeing on the metro is only visible to the computer, but there's so much behind. That once you see that, then you will see. Okay, this is fantastic.
Thank you, Keshav ji, and certainly I will meet you when I come to Lucknow next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Bharadwaj.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Namaste.